Welcome back. In the previous steps, we added the form elements and we tied them up to the state of the component. In this step, let's focus on the login button click. When the login button is clicked, we would want to take action. We would want to check whether the username and password is right. And based on it, either show a logged in successful message or show an error. How do we do that? Let's see that in this specific step. Let's start with creating a on change event. Is it on change event or on click event? It should be the on click event, right? So on click of the button, I would want to call a method. So this dot, I'll say login clicked. So login clicked. As soon as I create a method in the class, one of the important things is to make sure that we bind it, right? So this dot login clicked is equal to this dot login click dot bind dot this. Now we have the login clicked. Let's do a console dot log this dot state. Let's see if everything ties up fine. Login. Yep, I can see the username and password. That's cool. So based on the username and password values, I would want to be able to show two different messages. Let's look at them right now. So let's say I would want to show a message which is invalid credentials, or the other message we would want to be able to show is login successful. So these are the two messages that we would want to be able to show based on the username and password entered. If you go to the form right now, you can actually see both of them. But what we want to do is conditionally show them. We don't want to show them always. We only want to show them in specific scenarios. How do we do that? For now, to keep things simple, we would want to start with hard-coded validation. Let's assume that the only valid username and password combination is in 28 minutes and dummy. So what we want to do is if username is equal to in 28 minutes, it's 3 is equal to. In Java, we use 2 is equal to. In JavaScript, it's 3 is equal to is the recommended approach. Username, dummy, and password is equal to dummy, right? If these two are right, but where are the username and password present? They are present inside this state, right? So the actual current values of the username and password are present in this dot state. So if this dot state dot username is equal to in 28 minutes and this dot state dot password is equal to dummy, what do we want to do? For now, let's just do a console dot log. Console dot log successful. Let's say else console dot log failed. Let's comment out this log. So now when I click login, failed because in 28 minutes and empty password. I will enter dummy. You can see that I entered dummy as the value. And when I click login, successful. Thing is, we are printing the state before in the handle change event before the state is updated. That's why it's showing it that way. Let's comment this out. It's no longer needed anyway. So in 28 minutes, dummy. When I say login, it's successful. When I enter any other password and say login, failed. That's cool. So we are doing simple validation in here. What we want to do is we would want to trigger these messages based on it. To be able to trigger these messages based on it, what we need to do is we need to add these to the state. So what I'll do is I'll add a couple of more variables to the state. So is or has login failed. So has login failed. Initially, it would be false. And the last one is show success message. And I'll put it to false as well. What should we do when login is clicked? If this is the thing, what should we do? Let's remove the console.log, put it back here. If it's successful, what do we need to do? Is we need to update this state, right? So what should we do in this state? I'll take this thing which is present in here. This dot set state. What should I do? Show successful message. should have a value of true. Else, what should we do? Login has failed. If login has failed, then I should not show the success message, but I should show the error message. Has login failed is true. So what we are doing is, based on whether the thing is successful or not, we are actually setting the status. Actually, what I can also do is actually here, has login failed is now false, because once it's success, has login failed is false, right? So let's see what would happen now. Now, if I go to the page and click login, I still see both the messages. Why? Because we have not really added conditions around this yet, right? So around invalid credentials and login successful, we have not really added conditions yet. How do we add conditions around this? One of the easiest ways to add conditions is by saying function in valid credentials, and we'll pass props to it. Actually, I should create this outside the component. So let's go ahead and move outside and say function show invalid credentials and props. What we'll do in here is, if props, what we'll do is we'll pass has login failed as a property to this specific thing. So what I can do is props.login failed. If in this specific property, if has login failed is true, then what we'll do is we'll return this credentials back. Return invalid credentials. Otherwise, return null. I don't need the semicolons. So over here, instead of this, I would want to use show invalid credentials. Actually, I can end the tag in here directly. And what I'll do is I'll create a property called has login failed, and I'll pick the value for it from the state. So this dot state dot has login failed. So show invalid credentials only if has login failed is true. I can create a similar message for the other thing. Before that, let's check if this is working. So now the invalid message is not being shown, and if I enter right user ID and password, the invalid message is not being shown. However, if I enter invalid ID and password, you can see that the invalid credentials is being shown, because we added now a if condition. This invalid credentials will be shown only if the has login failed in this state has a value of true. So you can pause the video in here and try and do something very similar with login successful. So it's very simple. We are creating a function component actually. So show login success message props, and what we can do is if props dot, we'll use the same thing that we had earlier, show success message, return this thing which is present in here, return the login successful message, otherwise return null back. And now I can use the show login success message over here. Oops, let me get this right. And now I can say, show login success message and show success message. I would want to get it from the state. So is equal to this dot state dot show success message and close the parenthesis. Isn't that cool? Now I can remove all this stuff and login, right values login successful, wrong values invalid credentials. In this step, what we looked at is actually implementing the logic for the login button. So we added the on-click event, and we actually added a couple of messages based on whether the hard-coded authentication that we are performing is successful or not. We'll talk about a lot more in the next step. Until then, bye-bye.